Good morning, Mike from the Academy. Hope you're well today. We thought we might just walk around our summer garden, let's show you what's happening, what's growing well, seed collection and things like that. So this is what we call, this is our chicken feed area where we grow a lot of crops to feed the chickens. You know, healthy chickens mean healthy eggs. That means healthy people. So as you can see, we've got some silver beet here, Swiss chard. So we actually chop through the leaves, we chuck those leaves. Wombok, Chinese cabbage. We've got things like green beans. Soybeans, which can be fed to chickens when they're young. We've got our sunflowers, which are starting to come out really well now. So we're going to collect the sunflower seeds of the sunflowers. We've got our milling corn, our dent corn. Silvermine is the variety there. That's doing fantastic. And it was only a month ago, and they were only sort of that high. And now you can sort of see within a month they've just taken off. So that's fantastic. So they're growing really well. So that's our chicken feed section, and we're really happy with the way that's growing this year, especially when the warmer weather's arrived. It's been great. So this is our raised bed section here, and we've got about 9 or 10 beds here, and things are really thriving here at the moment. But we'll just take you through and show you what's around. So we've got some rocket that's going to seed at the moment. So we're going to save some rocket seed. We've got things like leaf lettuce coming up between that, which we can pick for salads. We did a video recently about cutting back spinach. You can see that's grown back after 2 weeks. You can sort of see the size of the spinach, and some of that's starting to go to seed, so we'll be able to collect some seed of that. Our third pick of carrots is going well. So as you can see, they're getting to be a nice size. We've got parsnips in there as well. We've got some Swiss chard or silver beet going to seed. So that's maybe about a month away from being collected. We've got things like spring onions, things like beetroot, which is doing really well now. So we can just go along, and it's great with the raised beds. All you do is you go along and just pick things as you want them. Beetroot. We've got things like carrots going to seed, carrots and onions going to seed. That one's there almost ready to be picked. Because these are non-hybrid varieties, these are traditional open pollinated varieties, they set seed at different times, so that's really good. We've got things like zucchinis are doing really well at the moment. Yellow zucchini. Our bell peppers just starting to develop. You can actually pick these when they're small. Obviously as they get older they turn red, but you can still use those in salads and stir fries when they're small, so we grab one of those. We've got things like green zucchinis. That's a nice big one there, but we can pick that one and put that through a spiraliser. Well, these ones actually make really good. What you can do with these, if you cut these in slices and put them on a barbecue, and you actually put stuffing in them, so the bigger zucchinis are really good for that. So don't feel like if the zucchinis get too big you can't use them. You definitely can use them. We've got Lebanese zucchini, which is, it grows so quick you just can't keep up with it. That's by far the quickest growing summer vegetable, the Lebanese or the grey zucchini. And something that's really started to take off over the last 2 weeks are the peppers. So we've got the various types of peppers. We've got the jalapeno, which is a mild pepper, a little bit of heat in it. We've got the cayenne pepper, which is really hot. Well, I think it's hot anyway. It's not hot to a lot of people, but it's definitely hot. And of course the bell peppers, the second crop of bell peppers or capsicums in Australia, we call these. But you can sort of see how these are really starting to take off. They're starting to fruit. You can sort of see these little peppers starting to form. This is an eggplant. You might think, well, that's the same flower as a potato flower. That's because they're in the same family, they're in the Solanum family. But they're really loving the warm weather. We've got cucumbers starting to grow. But you may have seen some of our previous videos. It's been such a cold, wet spring, and the summer crops are only just starting to take off now. We've got transitioning out of the spring and early summer vegetables. We've got things like kale, and these are finishing up now. So really what you want is a transition garden where you've got overlap. We've got winter crops and summer crops overlapping with root crops, so you've got food all year round. So we're just transitioning into the summer now. So these are just on the last legs. These are coming out. We've also planted the winter's varieties of brassicas. So we've got cauliflowers, we've got the kale, we've got red cabbage, green cabbage, broccoli. So as you can see, we've we're picking summer vegetables, but we're already planting out vegetables for the winter. So you've got that transition. So it's not just seasonal. You've got a transition that goes from season to season, which is really what you want. Onions are great. Now, onions just about grow all year, same as carrots. So a lot of your root crops fill in the gaps between the various seasonal crops. So there's a lovely red onion, all good to go. They're doing really well. Yeah, so that's our raised bed. Most of the food we're in our kitchen here and we give away to family comes from these raised beds. They're great because they're very easy to weed, they're very easy to plant, they're just pretty well maintenance free. So it's a great investment. Raised beds, if you want just a home garden, they're really good. I can highly recommend them. So these are our in-ground raised beds. They're actually raised beds, but they're at ground level. So basically all they are is just, we've dug the spoon drains between the beds, and that allows, when you get a lot of heavy rainfall or you're irrigating, it allows the excess water just to drain off. So it's just a very cheap and easy way to make raised beds. But this is more of our bulk food production because we do give a lot of food away to community gardens and charities. So we've got a lot more food here to do that, and also we're growing a lot of seed as well. So some of the crops we've got growing here, we've got things like swede. That's a really good root crop. We've got beetroot here. We've got a lot of pulses. They're in the legume family, so they're really great. They're highly nutritious, full of protein, and they nitrogen fix to the soil, so they're really good for crop rotations. But we've got one here that's never been grown in Tasmania before, and that's the cow pea, or the black-eyed pea. It's actually a bean. It gets a bit confusing, but it's not a pea, it's actually a bean. First time, as far as I'm aware, it's been grown in Tasmania, so we're doing a lot of crop trials here. We've got black turtle beans, we've got kidney beans, and the great thing about the pulses, even though they're grown as a dried bean, the kidney beans and the black-eyed beans and that sort of thing, you can actually use the younger ones as green beans. So this is the kidney bean, traditionally known for the actual dry kidney bean, but if they're small like that, you can eat them straight off the bush. They're actually delicious. So that's a good thing about pulses. You can eat them green, or you can let them grow out and pick them as dried beans. Peanuts. Peanuts are generally regarded as a warm weather crop, but they're thriving. They've got another couple of months of warm weather, so hopefully they'll set in the ground and actually form a really good crop of peanuts. We've got pinto beans, traditional things like carrots. We've got things like parsnip. Things like some of the crops are really starting to take off. That's a tomato there, it's a bush tomato, Allen's Early Red, it's a Tasmanian variety. It stands up to the cold really well, so we'll be seed saving of that one. Cayenne peppers, you can sort of see the last couple of weeks they've really taken off, so they're ready to chuck into a dish. They're not quite as hot when they're green, but when they go red they go really hot, but still got a bit of bite to them. Okay, we've got some golden nugget dwarf pumpkin. They're doing well, so that I'll pick one of those. But they get about 3 times that size, so they're only a small one, but they're actually delicious. So it's just a small bush pumpkin, really nice one. Got some zucchini, and this tomato on the end here is called tomato. It's sort of like a cherry tomato. It's not very big, probably the size of a golf ball, so it's a little bit bigger than a cherry tomato. But a lot of people regard the tomato as their favourite tomato as far as taste goes. And ease of growing, so that's really good. And then we've got our seed raising beds here. So all this variety of bed here is all just for raising seed. And just here we've got some chickpeas. So chickpeas are another variety of pulse that's generally grown in warmer climates. So in Tasmania here we're 42 degrees south, so it's quite a low range for chickpeas, but they're doing quite well and they're starting to set. So that's a good experiment growing chickpeas. Anyway, that's our in-ground raised bed section. So we're in the potato patch at the moment, and as you can see the potatoes are thriving. They're just going through the cycle now where they're just starting to slow down in growth, and most of them will be a month away from being dug out. But at the moment I'm just going through and collecting some of the true potato seed. So what these are after the potato flowers, it sets the true seed. And we're going to collect these and identify these and label these and then save the seed of that for growing out different varieties next season. So here's a close-up of the true potato seed. So obviously the potato flowers, sets the seed, and after about a month or so when the seed matures, you take it off and you can squeeze the seed out and then transplant that like what you do with the tomato seed and grow that the next season. This is how we get new varieties of potatoes. So I'm just about to collect all the potato seed off the various varieties and to save those. So we've got 17 heritage varieties. So we grow the tubers out next year. That means they're true to type. But when you collect the seed itself, you can get different varieties. So that's why we collect the seed, so we just see what different varieties we can accumulate. So we've got a few different varieties happening here. We've got things like pumpkins that are growing on the end of the bed and in the beds. So they're doing well. I planted pretty late, but as you can see, they're really starting to take off. It's a Kent pumpkin there. We've got a Jarrahdale pumpkin, a really good storing pumpkin up there. Queensland blue pumpkin, really good. We've got in-row corn. We're just seeing how the corn does in between the hilling of the potatoes at the moment. We've got the sunflowers. So some of these things we're really, really happy with. So experiments are great. You sort of utilise the land better, you utilise the water better. So we've got quite a few experiments happening here and there. And I think this patch at the moment, we've got over 25 different experiments, R&D projects happening. So we want to sort of trial things and just work out the best way to grow things and different planting techniques. So that's really good. That one there, we've got peanuts growing on the side of the hill where the potatoes are. We've got kidney beans that are planted down this row here. Got all sorts of things here. Chinese cabbage, wombok. Very, very quick growing plant. Fastest growing leafy vegetable you can plant, the wombok. That was only planted 3 weeks ago and you can sort of see that's ready to be picked already. We've got wombok cabbage growing on the side of the hills as well, just trialling that. That's going really well as well. So that's our walk around for the summertime. Hope you've enjoyed that. We've got lots of things happening. It's a very exciting time because everything's growing and we're harvesting, we're picking, we're saving seed. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what's happening on the homestead at the moment. So until next time, have a great day.